Are you upset about American politics? Do you want to try a different approach? Instead of falling into the same old us versus them patterns, or the old way, Democrats versus Republicans, let's transform our political system through alliances, also known as coalition building. Bernie Sanders almost captured the presidency with a socially progressive campaign. His talking points grabbed so many of us. The Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson wasn't very appealing, and he still took 3.4% of the total vote. If progressives and libertarians can put down their differences, we may be able to change a political narrative, or even challenge a two-party system. Coalition defined. It's an alliance for combined action, especially a temporary alliance of political parties forming a government. Unlike the divided politics of us versus them, coalitions are built to accentuate similarities. The two political camps mentioned have many differences, but as parliamentary systems show us across the world, camps with opposing viewpoints can align to push initiatives forward. Coalition and alliance building will only happen from an involved and engaged masses, from the people. By progressives and libertarians, these people take to the streets. In the wake of 2008 Wall Street collapse, two grassroots movements spurned. One libertarian, or the Tea Party, and one was progressive, with Occupy Wall Street. They have street cred, where the Tea Partiers were complaining about government having way too much power. Occupiers were complaining about large corporations having too much power. But where they both combine is that large corporations end up lobbying for government to have more power, and in return the government enacts laws and regulations favorable to these large corporations. Unification points. These are the most insidious aspects of our society. Corporations behind these points are some of the most powerful in the nation. Libertarians and social progressives naturally align around these three topics. 1. End perpetual warfare. 2. End the drug war. And 3. Reinstate bankruptcy for student loans. According to Stanford and NYU's Living Under Drones, perpetual war is actually less safe for Americans. What happens is 1 out of every 4 people killed in a drone attack are an innocent victim. Therefore, the families of the innocent victims end up having hatred for America and therefore want to harm us. We are manufacturing future enemies every day. It's too expensive, it decreases our credibility, and it enriches a select few. Looking at the pie graph on the right-hand side, America's discretionary spending in 2015 was $1.11 trillion. Discretionary spending is the amount of money we have to spend after paying our debt payments. And 54% of our free cash goes towards the military, almost $600 billion. It's crazy. And who is behind the curtain making all the money from it? Lockheed Martin, Boeing, BAE Systems, General Dynamics, and many other corporations are raking in billions and billions and billions of dollars based on this perpetuation of warfare. And the war on drugs. The drug war is too costly. It's unjust. It doesn't solve the problem, and it's ethnically unfair. The average cost of a federal inmate is around $30,000 per year, and federal prisoners is about 95,000 of them charged with drug-related crimes, leading to a cost of $29 billion per year. Not as much as the war industry, of course, but still an exceptionally large amount of money we're spending for an unjust system. And when you fold that data on top of the race and ethnicity breakdown, there's no reason for 450 per 1,000 white people in prison versus 2,306 per 100,000 black people in prison. Our system is deeply ethnically unfair, and by stopping this non-violent drug criminals from going to prison, we cure a bit of this deeply embedded injustice. What makes the story even worse, our prisoners themselves are big business. There are some private prison corporations, Geo Group, Management and Training Corp, and CCA used to be known as Corrections Corporation of America, but now they're called CoreCivic. And these companies have lockup quotas involved in their contracts. So the surrounding county or state or federal jurisdiction actually promises them 90% lockup rates in order to keep their profitability going, forcing harder sentencing on the population. Not just that, certain companies on the left-hand column are using prison labor in their day-to-day operations, Boeing, Compaq, Texas Instruments, Honeywell, Microsoft, Dell, all these companies listed here as well as more are actually benefiting from this nasty, unjust system. 3. Reinstate bankruptcy for student loans. Reinstating bankruptcy is extremely important. It's unconstitutional. The U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4, authorizes Congress to enact uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States. Well, these laws aren't uniform. If you buy a home, it goes down in value, you can bankrupt yourself out of it. That's how capitalism works. Trump, our current president, buys multiple large-scale real estate holdings and properties, and he's bankrupted himself 6 times to the tune of $1 billion. And regular Americans are strapped with 6 figures worth of debt, can't bankrupt themselves out of it. It's absolutely not a uniform law on the subject of bankruptcy, and therefore it is unconstitutional. Looking at this graph, student loan debt in trillions has gone way, way up. It's 1.3, almost 1.4 trillion in outstanding debt, increasing quickly. If we were to free people up, allow the opportunity for bankruptcy, we could free Americans up to innovate and take risks. Americans are paying $38 to collect $1 of student loan debt. That is absolutely crazy. Who is profiting from this? The debt collectors, like the headline shows, federal loan servicers, the big 3 of private student loans, Wells Fargo, Sallie Mae, Discover, educators. The colleges are making a ton off this. Banks, lobbyists, the federal government itself. It's deeply embedded and rotten in our system. When talking to libertarians, it'll be very good to stick with the monetary costs to society. When talking to progressives, you can amplify the social and emotional costs, like the MLK quote above. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and the 3 bullet points mentioned are all deeply unjust. So to recap, progressives and libertarians are active and engaged, so this would be an impactful coalition. 2, social change does not come incrementally. Let's shoot for the moon. 3, the 3 bullet points are where libertarians and progressives have natural alliance. Let's focus on similarities. And 4, let's build a world that reflects our human values, all with a government that's cost effective. Thank you very much, and spread the word. Coalition 2020.